Hi, my name is Bishop Gregory Lightner, and this is Pastor Karen Lightner, and we are the hosts of Is Love Enough? And today, our show is going to be What Men Think. What's going on in this head of ours, in men's head. It's going to be a really good show. And our guest is Ricks.
Mr. Raymond Ricks.
Mr. Raymond Ricks. I started with his last name. But before we get to our topic and our guest, we want to say a little bit about WYTV7.
Yes, WYTV7.org is a nonprofit television station that sponsors shows just like ours that help educate, empower, and encourage our communities. Please consider donating by going to WYTV7.org and click the red button and donate now.
Click the red button and donate now. We are going to be talking about what men think, and our guest is Mr. Raymond Ricks.
You got it, baby.
And we want him to introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about himself. How long has he been married? About his kids. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Ricks.
First of all, thank you, Bishop Gregory and First Lady. My name is Raymond Ricks. Born and raised in Chesapeake, Virginia. Been married over 20 plus years. Have two wonderful kids, Reagan and Raymond. And I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I like what I'm doing, being at home.
I'm trying to join that club soon.
Hey, I can show you all the good TV shows you're missing out on.
So listen, we want to talk about what men think, and our first question is a bit of a right into what men think. There's a difference between intimacy and sex, but most men go straight for the gusto, go right into sex, and don't have any understanding of what intimacy is. Can you tell me what you think intimacy is?
Personally, I think from my own experience being married for as long as I have, intimacy starts, sometimes can be first thing in the morning. Just a simple, hey, how you doing? You look nice. Just compliments throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever it takes to make your significant other know, you know what? He appreciates me. And then what comes after that is the reward from everything you've been doing. You know what I mean? The little subtle moves, that's what, it's a foundation that you're laying so you can have that special time with your loved one. It doesn't just start with, walking around with no clothes on or saying something out of the way about how her figure is and everything. Yeah, that helps. But at the same time, just a little small gesture saying, hey, you know what, baby, you look nice today. And that could be the only compliment she will get all day, but she got that from you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do believe that intimacy is very much different from women and men. I do believe that men think of intimacy different than women do, but we are married to women, so we have to begin to think about intimacy the way they think about intimacy, and I've learned over 27 years. I said that to myself the other day. I'm like, oh my God, 27 years. Not in a bad way, but I can't believe that it's been 27 years. That over 27 years, I've learned that you just can't go for the gusto. You have to start, like you said, in the day when you first get up. My wife loves to say good morning, right? Yes. And some mornings, I'm like, girl, I slept with you all night. What am I saying good morning for? But I know she likes for me to say to her, good morning.
It's a new day.
It's a new day.
That's right.
So I say good morning, and give her a kiss, and that begins our intimacy for that day. And it is the small gestures, like
and it sets the tone. I'm sorry, it sets the tone for the rest of the day, and not only your day, her day, and it's a tone setter, and it just keeps everything flowing nice and smooth.
Exactly.
because I feel like good morning because I feel like okay, we said all we said prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a brand new day, so we got to start over and make this day great. So I always got to say good morning,
Mm-hmm.
and and believe it or not, that I don't know, it really does something to me. It makes me feel I don't know.
I'm laughing.
Giddy.
I'm laughing because it's an inside joke. So the other day, and this is just us. The other day, I purposely did not say good morning for a few minutes, right? I'm like, I just want to see how she gonna act. So I purposely
You wrong.
didn't say good morning, right? And so she got up. She was like, "What you?"
I'm saying good morning. You
so later on, she came back. Well, I said good morning.
And you know, I have that problem because sometimes I don't hear Chris when she says good morning, and she'll give me that same response.
Right.
Didn't you hear me? Didn't you hear me? I said good morning. I ain't hear you. And I say, look, I'm sorry. Good morning. I have to say it loud enough because I may be watching the
That's right. We need to hear so we know y'all paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they test us early. It starts first thing in the morning.
That's right. As soon as our feet hit the floor.
That's it.
That's the test.
That's it.
So let me ask you this other question I have. It also is centered around intimacy. We know that intimacy can be influenced from our first teachers of what intimacy is, and it can shape our view of intimacy. So our influence of what intimacy is for males happens very early on. Can you talk about what shaped your view of intimacy?
You know, at an early age.
Pre-marriage.
Yeah, at an early age when I was growing up, my father was in the military, and my mother had been together for years. And there was always that when he came home, they met one another at the door and they always hugged or kissed. I noticed that as I was growing up. Then I noticed my uncle and my wife that lived right across the street from them, they did the same thing. So at a younger age, I saw my mother and my father, and then I saw my uncle and my aunt showing one another that same mutual respect or intimacy from greeting one another at the door. And that kind of stuck with me from where I'm at now. You know, that was a major influence in my life, seeing people of that stature being able to constantly show one another that care and nurturing that they have for one another.
So you always had a good understanding of what intimacy was.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's good.
Coming from my parents and my surrounding aunts and uncles and cousins, that you know, it was always showing one another. If it was a trip to the store, they went together. They sat down. One thing I always admired about my uncle, rest his soul, and my aunt, you know, till the day he got sick and passed away, they always watched television together. They always sat down and watched the same show. They may not agreed on a particular show, but they watched it. They sat down and watched it. And I always admired that about them.
Yes. Now, my mom, my father, my family were they were all very close. They were always kissy, huggy, laughy, jokey, did things together. But as a 18, 19 years young man, my view of intimacy was not that.
Yep.
Yeah, my view of intimacy was not that. That was for married folk. That was love. That was all these other things that I was not feeling at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my view of intimacy was let's see how much I got to do to get to the prize at the end.
Now, I would like to say this. Now, exactly what you're saying, you're 100%. And I didn't learn intimacy at that level when I was in my mid-20s, early 20s, mid-20s, almost 30. I didn't learn complete intimacy until I started dating an older woman. And that's what really helped me learn how I'm supposed to nurture this individual that I'm trying to pursue. Because at that point, you're still trying to pursue a young lady. and you have to learn
Right.
what it takes to get to where the both of you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn it. It took me an older woman. She basically had to tell me, hey, slow down. I'm not going anywhere. Let's do this the right way. Now, I want to take my time and show you how things are supposed to be done and how to treat a woman. And to this day, hey, I never look back.
Mm-hmm. 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 I think there's a point where, as men, a light bulb comes on. If someone's not coaching you in that way, I think it's a moment where a light comes on and you begin to understand that intimacy is much more than just sex.
Yep.
For me, it was when I got married, and my wife helped a lot with teaching me what is intimacy. Okay, you love me, so now what is intimacy? And so doing little things for her, like buying her a single rose or cooking her dinner or making her favorite cup of coffee or picking my clothes up off the bathroom floor.
Oh, you know, bringing them lunch to work, or bringing them a single rose at work in front of all of her other coworkers. Man, you do that, man.
Yes.
Yes. The sky's the limit.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
That's intimacy right there.
That's intimacy.
It's not in the bedroom. It's not always in the bedroom.
No, it's not always in the bedroom, and that's what we love. We love the attention. We love the closeness, the little things, the roles, the special dinners, all of that. We love it. So at the end, all of that builds up. And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna reward him later on."
Yeah, we still looking for the reward. Let me make this crystal clear now. We still looking for the reward at the end. Now we ain't doing all that.
We're still looking to get there. We still want to get there.
Get rewarded, but not jump automatically into reward.
Right.
Let's work our way up.
Let's work our way up. Yeah.
Work our way up.
We've learned that.
That's right.
We've learned that. We got to work our way up.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. We're a little hard-headed at times, but we learn it through the process.
We learn it, right. That's right.
We learned it.
Yeah, we got to this intimacy part. We forgot to ask our big question of the day.
Oh, that's right. We did ask our big question of the day. So we want to ask you, Mr. Ricks, is love enough?
Yes, it is. And I have to throw a but in there also. I'll start with the yes, it is. Love is a beautiful thing, especially when you have someone that genuinely cares about you and you guys have grown together. And you work and that's a beautiful thing, and love is a big part of that. And when I say about my butt, that butt comes in where there's work to go with that. You have to put in work to keep that love. And if you don't be willing to work, then that love will die off. It's like you cut your yard and you have these roots that's in there and you get these weeds and everything. See, that's when it starts dying off, when you get those weeds in your yard or in your relationship. It puts a stranglehold on it. So that means you have to work, you have to put in work and keep working.
You're absolutely right. You have to work. Love can be enough with work. You have to work at it. Love is something that you have to put attention in, and you have to make sure that you're working it. You can't just leave love on a shelf and go, "Oh, well, she loves me, it'll be okay." No, there's a lot of work you have to put into it as well. Listen, our time is running really quickly. We have to take a really quick, short break. And right after the break, we got a doozy of a question that we're going to hit and get into what men think. See you right after the break.
Calling all HBCU alumni, supporters, and golfers. It's that time of year again. Yes, the HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams charity golf tournament on Tuesday, April 5th. If you missed the last one, you have time once again to be epic. Don't miss the golf tournament of the year. The Swing Into Their Dreams HBCU charity golf tournament at the Atlanta National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia, Tuesday, April the 5th. Registration begins now. Sign up your golf teams at swingintotheirdreams.com. That's swingintotheirdreams.com or call 770-686-7148. That's 770-686-7148. Don't miss it.
And we are back with Is Love Enough with our guest, Mr. Raymond Ricks.
Yes.
And we're talking about what men think. And I said before the break, we had a good question. And I'm going to let Pastor Karen, she's going to ask me and Mr. Raymond both the same question. Go ahead, Pastor.
Okay, gentlemen, romance. In your early years, say late teens to 20s, y'all like experimenting. We know we discussed the intent of romance, and although you're both married, has it really changed?
I'll let Ray go first.
Just like with anything else, I mean, it changes. But in your early years, you really don't know anything about it. You're learning on the job, but then as you get older and you're with that individual, you find your little avenues that you use to show your young lady that you are interested in them, and you go well and beyond to show her that you are appreciative of her. And then you constantly keep doing that. And it's a process that you go through when you're dating or you're getting in a relationship with somebody. You're still learning. Even to this day, with me being married over 20 plus years, I'm still learning new things with me and my wife. So, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So has romance for you changed from teens to 20s to where you are now? And can you tell us how?
In the beginning, yes, it has.
I don't want to tell my whole story. I'm trying to keep mine.
From where I'm at now, it's like night and day, because I didn't know anything back then. It was always, like you said earlier, it was all about what was the end game? What could I get out of this? I put a little bit of effort, see what the reward was. But as you get older and there's somebody that you truly want to be with, then you go that extra mile automatically. It's not even work anymore. It's just something that you say, you know what? I think she likes this. I'm going to bring this home to her. And I think that's where it changed with me. And I'm always a romantic guy. I love buying cars for my wife. She always told me, you pick out the nicest cars. And I say all the time, I wish that I could put those words together like that for you. This is my way of showing you that I'm thinking about you.
Right. Wow. So for me, it was a little different because I learned around 15 that I could talk my way into most things, right? And as a preacher, words are what you use. If you're going to preach, you got to know some words. And then I learned at an early age that my words and putting them together right could influence the situation. So I learned that at an early age as well. And then I can cook. So then I learned with my words and influence in cooking, it ended up with a certain reward, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So then that was my always go-to for romance, right? Well, I'm gonna make you this wonderful meal. I'm gonna do this and that. So that was always my way to romance a girl, right? And then once I got married, because we got married in our 20s. Once I got married and realized I always liked being romantic, but then I learned to be romantic because I love her, and not so much for the end game, but really because I wanted to see her happy, right? I wanted to see that smile on her face. I wanted to see her have that glow of, oh my God, I can't believe he did this for me. Or, oh my God, I can't believe I got this. Or hear her on the phone with her girlfriend saying, you don't believe what my man did for me. You know, that kind of thing to really romance her. And so I think I've learned that.
Oh, you learned that very well. The romantic and then the things you come up with, like the scavenger hunt, the clues, it just amazes me. I'm like, where did he come up with these things from? And it's like I can't wait to my birthday, or I can't wait like special occasions come because I'm ready to see what's next. And I'm like, oh, I got me a romantic.
You know, now that you say that, Bishop, I remember my early days. I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but I remember I used to get up early in the morning, clean my car, spotless. And I knew when if I left out of that court to go pick up that young lady, that was my way of showing her a little romance. She's getting picked up by it. Like you say, you like to cook and everything. I used to spend all morning, afternoon cleaning my car. And that was my way of showing a little romance to the young lady that I was trying to date. I would come around there, my car was so clean. She didn't even want to sit down in it because she was scared. I had so much armor all everywhere. She was sliding everywhere. But it was so clean. And she was like, well, every time I get in your car, it is so clean and everything. And that was my way back then. And then throughout the years, it changed. You know, it wasn't about the car you was in. It was the person that was in the car. And I learned
I learned that. Right. And I believe that it is a learning experience for men and a maturing experience for most men as well. We learn and we mature. And as we learn and we mature, we stop thinking so much as a childish way with romance and intimacy and start thinking more of a relationship, building, having a life and camaraderie and all of the things that come out of having a relationship between a woman and a man. There's so much more than just sex.
So true. So true. You know,
Pastor, what would you say? Did you know we thought that way?
No, not at all. Because I guess me growing up, I didn't, really do the dating scene too much because automatically in my mind, I'm like, I already know the ultimate goal. So back in my era, they were little horny boys. So I'm like, it didn't pique my interest because that's not what I wanted. I couldn't find anybody to romance me or whatever. So I really didn't start dating good till like in my 20s, when I was in my 20s. And it changed the dating scene pretty good. Yeah, I met you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And but I learned that very early. That was a turnoff. So I never approached a girl, and I talk to young boys now. I never approached a girl with that. I just want to go to bed with you. It was always, I'm gonna romance you. I'm gonna
they always
make this touch. Dinner. I'm gonna buy you these flowers. Now my end goal was to get us, but I didn't tell her that. Okay. Let's ask this question. I've heard this in counseling a lot. Why do I always have to be the aggressor? Meaning that the man in the marriage always has to be the aggressor when it comes to physical intimacy. That question is asked to me a lot. Why do I always have to be the aggressor? What advice would you give to a man that's asking that question? Why do I always have to be the aggressor?
First of all, let me say, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that's going through that. I am so glad that there's other guys out there saying the same question. But I have to say, if we knew that answer, we could probably write a bunch of books about it. But I don't know, to be honest with you, Gregory. I know it's something that we all want and we wish that would happen. I'm not saying that one time it didn't, but it tailed off as the relationship developed. And I don't know if it's a circumstance, things happen within your family or the kids or scheduling or something going on. It's just something that causes them to lose that edge of wanting to initiate certain things with their spouses. I may be wrong, that's my opinion, but I think we all want our beautiful wives to come to us at times. But sometimes it's just not going to happen. And we as men are going to always have to do that. And sometimes that's what your woman wants. They want to be pursued. They don't want to be the aggressor. Some of them want you to constantly keep coming to them so they know that they are still wanted and pursued by their husband.
And I believe now. I gotta give Pastor Karen her props because I don't have that. I don't have that problem. Yeah. But I would say this. I think a lot of women still want to be pursued. That sometimes when we've been married a long time, that we can take our wives for granted, and that they want that feeling of you chasing her, like that feeling of, you know how we used to chase her before we got married. You know, we stay on the phone with her for hours. You know, we tell her. I'll say it this way: we tell her stuff. You know, we tell her stuff. And sometimes I think they still desire that part of the intimacy, you know. So sometimes during the day, I'll send a text to Pastor Karen, and I gotta make sure I'm texting in the right group. I send a text to Pastor Karen going, because she a pastor in church, she my wife at home. This is my wife, and I'm a bishop in church, but I'm a husband at home, and so sometimes I'll send her a text, you know, and I'm pursuing her. I'll put it that way. I'm pursuing her in my text.
I'm sorry, can I ask you this, Bishop? Can't men feel like they're not wanted if they're not being pursued also?
Yeah, I think so. Again, when I'm talking to a lot of men, I've been blessed not to have that issue. But I tell women as well, you know, treat your husband. Sometimes go out your way. Sometimes if he likes red, then visit Vicky. She gonna tell you a secret, and buy some red. If he like blue, I happen to like purple. So you know, go to Vicky, and she gonna tell you a secret about some red, purple, blue, green, or yellow. And then when he come home, if Vicky done told you a secret, trust me, and I tell women this all the time, trust me, you will not have a problem with him coming home tomorrow. So he gonna be coming home and he gonna be there early. That joke.
He gonna cut the TV on or nothing, huh?
That's right. He gonna be there early,
but just like you said, we definitely don't have that problem. But some women, you know, take their husbands for granted, and some women don't initiate. So,
right.
But I guess some feel like, okay, well, it's my husband's job to be initiated or whatever, or you know, to do that, and she feels like, why should I initiate? That's his job to do it. So some women, I think, take their husbands for granted.
Yeah. And I will say this from talking to a lot of other men, that would, and just thinking about it, that would get boring after a while.
Yeah.
Not feeling like you are wanted or you are being pursued as well. I think that's something that should then be discussed between the couple. Hey, baby, you know, I want you to chase me sometime.
Sometimes, and then it's like it's one-sided. Yeah. It's like one-sided. I'm always initiated. And I got these, like you got
right. So, yeah. Let me come home with some candles on my side of the bed. You know?
And then sometimes we as men, when we do be the aggressor, there's always that chance of rejection. I mean, I know that's your wife, but some days she may not want you know, to be involved in that at that moment or that time. And we as men, rejection has a way of turning us down a little bit. So
Yes. Yes.
when it comes
Yes.
back for the next time, we still have that in the back of our head. Well, am I going to get rejected this time too? What do I do?
Yes. Listen, our time has gone so quick. We have to wrap this up. What piece of advice would you give a young man who's coming into marriage or thinking about marriage, about intimacy and romance?
Respect. Respect has a way of taking care of a lot of things. If you respect your woman from day one and constantly show her respect, you're not going to agree all the time. You're going to have arguments. But if you always respect her and don't call her out of her name and don't show her that she's your wife, no matter what, that's all you have to do. If you remain respectfully to her, that'll carry you a long way, a long way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us today, Laura. Ray, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But thank you for joining us today on this episode of Is Love Enough? Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all.